Hello there, my name is Jason Perkins. I'd like to welcome you to another episode in the Georgia Workers' Compensation video series. I'm an attorney who specializes in handling Georgia workers' compensation cases. I created this series of videos because I want to provide people who've been hurt at work with helpful information about Georgia workers' compensation law and the benefits that they should receive under that law. Today I want to talk to you about a specific type of workers' compensation injury, and that question I want to cover is whether Georgia workers' compensation covers arm injuries. So if you've been hurt at work, you may have suffered an injury to your arm. There's several types of injuries that I see a lot. You might have injured your shoulder, or your elbow, or your wrist, or your hand or fingers. And generally, Georgia workers' compensation law covers all types of arm injuries. Now, that can include whether your injury is a specific injury or more of an injury that occurs over time, what we call a cumulative trauma type injury. So, for example, you might injure your arm when you fall and break a bone in your arm. That's a specific type of injury, and that's covered under Georgia workers' compensation law generally. Or you might suffer a crush injury when something kind of falls on your arm or it gets caught in a machine or something like that. You might suffer an injury to your arm when you're lifting. This could occur, you could hurt your shoulder, your elbow, or some other part of your arm in a specific event lifting, or it could be a result of repetitive lifting over time. That would be more of a cumulative trauma type injury. You can also develop carpal tunnel syndrome from repetitively using your arm. Many people who have to do real repetitive tasks with their arms at work end up developing carpal tunnel syndrome or some other type of cumulative trauma type injury to your arm. And all these types of injuries would generally be covered as long as you can show that they happened as a result of the work that you were doing. Both cumulative trauma and specific injury type events are covered under Georgia law. So, if you suffer an injury to your arm, what benefits can you receive under Georgia workers' compensation law? There's three basic types of benefits that are covered under Georgia workers' compensation law. There's wage loss benefits, known as temporary total or temporary partial disability. Those benefits pay you when you're out of work as a result of your injury, or when you're working but making less money as a result of your injury. The second type of benefit is what's called medical benefits. So generally, your employer or the workers' compensation insurance company are responsible for paying for the medical treatment and testing that you need with certain authorized doctors. It's covered 100%. Now, there are time limits on how long you can receive the medical treatment for, but generally, your medical treatment that you need for your injury is covered. The third benefit that you can receive is something called permanent partial disability benefits, sometimes abbreviated PPD. These are benefits that your employer or the workers' compensation insurance company will pay to you if your authorized treating doctor determines that you have a permanent impairment as a result of your injury. In other words, if you don't recover 100%, your treating doctor should give you a permanent partial disability rating, and you'll receive some benefits for that. Now, what can you do if your employer or the workers' compensation insurance company is denying all or part of your workers' compensation claim? In other words, if they're claiming that you didn't get hurt at work, or they're not paying you benefits for some reason, or there's a specific type of benefit they're not paying, like they're not paying your lost wage benefits or your medical or permanent partial disability benefits. In this situation, one of the first things that you could do is either you or an attorney representing you could reach out to the workers' compensation insurance company and try to get them to change their mind on this issue. Try to get them to provide some information to demonstrate that your injury should be covered, or that the benefit they're not paying, that they should be paying that benefit to you. Now, if that's not successful, then usually what you would do is request a hearing in your workers' compensation claim to ask for the benefits that you should be receiving that the insurance company is not paying. Now, if your claim is being denied in whole or in part, I generally think it's a good idea to reach out to a workers' compensation attorney to find out what the best way to approach the denial of the claim is, whether you should reach out to the adjuster and try to convince them, or whether you should just request a hearing about this denial to try to get a judge to order the insurance company to pay what they should be paying. I hope you found this information about whether Georgia workers' compensation law covers arm injuries helpful. If you have, please let me know that. The best way you can do that is by liking this video or giving it a thumbs up. If you got more questions about Georgia workers' compensation law, I'd encourage you to reach out and schedule a free consultation with me about your case. There's two easy ways that you can do that. First is by calling the phone number on the bottom of the screen. And the second is by visiting our website, which is www.perkinslawtalk.com, and clicking on submitting the free consultation request form, and a member of our workers' compensation team will be happy to schedule you an appointment with me. I'd like to thank you again for watching this video today, and we'll wish you the best of luck as you recover from your injuries.